Welcome, everyone. Welcome to Trailblazers, a show on the Disability Channel. I'm your host, Susan Stewart. We'll be right back with our first guest. We have with us Ro Russel. He's also known as AKA Rev Ro. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Sue Stewart, your host of Trailblazers. I'm here with Rev Russel, Rev Ro, pioneer icon with basketball in the city of Toronto. I'm very excited to have Mr. Ro Russel here with us. And thank you, Ro, for coming in and speaking with us.
Great to be here. Thanks for inviting me. Always a pleasure to spend time with you, Sue.
Thank you, Ro. Coach, pioneer, and my friend. I know you know me from a long time, but please take us from the past, present, and future. I know that you've done so much tremendous things for basketball in the city of Toronto, and you are definitely a pioneer, and I have a lot of respect for you and what you've brought to this game and the athletes that you've. He is known for the basketball factory in Toronto, spitting out some incredible players. I want you to take some time now to tell the viewers across Canada what you do, and just tell us more about you, bro.
Well, basically, just to get to know about me more, my name is Ro Russel. I'm from Toronto, originally born in Jamaica. Came to New York City when I was young for a couple of years, then came to Canada, to Toronto, and started to play hockey, if you didn't know that. And, then decided I wanted to find another sport that was, a little bit more for my taste.
Okay.
And started to play basketball.
Right.
And because I started basketball late, when I was almost 13, I had to catch up to everybody else that started when they were 5. So that's where the work ethic and the training mentality and the passion to really make it a sport that I can make some things happen from. So I started to work on my game, started to train, and things just happened from there. And from there, I played high school ball at Runnymede Collegiate. We won numerous OFSA championships back in the 80s.
Okay.
And then, coming from a single parent family, I wanted to get a scholarship so my mom wouldn't have to pay all the loans back and all that other stuff. So I worked really hard, did a lot of research, networking, and this is before YouTube, before the internet.
I know.
And so, I had a lot of phone calls, a lot of driving and traveling to places to, market myself, promote myself, to where I was able to get a Division II scholarship, and then, to get my education, and started to coach when I was, in my teenage years, and start to, develop a basketball factory, as you mentioned before, and start to bring guys from all over Ontario to get that extra development, that extra competition. And when I saw that, hey, these guys can play Division I, but they're going to York, they're going to U of T, they're going to Carleton, and nothing wrong with those schools, great programs, but if they had a choice, they would rather go Division I. And I started to do some research back in '90, and found out about AAU, and decided to bring these kids down to the States on tournaments and camps and all that stuff, and invited coaches up to watch our guys practice in the gyms that I had. At that point, I had about maybe 60 to 80 guys in the gym.
Wow.
Because there was nothing else. We're the only AAU program out there, and guys wanted an opportunity, so things just kind of went from there.
Just build over. Wow. I know that you've had a wonderful opportunity to Corey Joseph, Tristan Thompson, that are in the NBA, Nick Stanzas, and there's many more. Those are the only 3 that I'm named, but there's many more. Can you talk a little bit about that, the training? Because I know you do a lot of training, and you train a lot. You've trained a lot of NBA national team players also, and players that played Division I. You've trained so many. Can you please share with our viewers a little bit more about that?
I really focus and have a passion for training, because that's the key to getting to the next level. and it was missing. In, high schools in Ontario, teachers don't get paid; they do it as a volunteer, position, and so they got to go mark tests and figure out the next day. So they don't really have the opportunity to spend the extra time on these student athletes, in the evening time or at practice. It's mostly team stuff, conditioning.
Right.
And so, being someone that had to really get good quickly, because I started basketball a little bit later, I decided to really, get that information and really search and talk to coaches and travel and go to clinics and really, dig down deep to find out the highest level of skills and development in Canada. And so when I started to have guys like Tristan Thompson, Corey Joseph, Mike Kabongo, Nick Staskis, Dwight Powell, and all the rest of them, Denham Brown, there's just so many guys to name. It's hard to name some because then you forget, or you don't get the chance to name them all. But I've had tons of guys, forgive me if I forget, to mention your name. But we got it in. We get into the gym, close the door, and we get after it and go 100 miles an hour, because you got to practice harder than you play.
Right.
So when you get in a game, you're already on that level that you need to be. You don't have to build yourself up. Right. You don't need 2 minutes to get warmed up. Right. As you step on the court, you're ready to go. And so we're working on the left hand, working on form shooting, working on combo moves, working on footwork, working on their passing skills and just off the ball screen action and post up moves and defense and just the whole nine. And then we also work on strength conditioning, whether it be plyometrics, with the Vertimax machine, work on that, get their athleticism and explosive up, and we'll just get after it. When these guys are done working out, they want to go to bed. You know what I'm saying? And so, it showed in the fact that those guys all went to the highest level. They're currently playing the NBA. A lot of them played overseas, still playing overseas. And, I've had at least 50 guys play on the national team, whether it be the cadet, the juniors, or the men's. So, so I have a lot of pride and I'm proud that, see these guys have gone on to bigger and better things.
Yes.
And I still have a lot of, energy and passion left in me to keep it going with the next batch of guys that's out there.
Well, that's true. I've seen you in action, and I'm very impressed that you still got it. You still got the moves. But I really want you to touch base on your new opportunity that you have with Crestwood College. Can you just tell our viewers about that private school?
Yeah, well, it's the official name is Crestwood Preparatory College, but it's a private high school in the border of North York and Scarborough, and it's a great opportunity because these kids get to excel academically as well as basketball. And now we're able to play in the prep league where they're going to play against these top-notch players across Canada from different programs, and then we also travel to the U.S. as well to be able to give these guys a great opportunity to get exposed and compete against the best players in America. And we really get after it more than a conventional high school setting where we start in September, we end in June, and help these guys to move on to the next level. And academically, everything's there for them. The school is great. They provide tutors, and we have study hall after school, and all the access you need to all the materials and everything. So it's a great way for these kids to really focus academically during the day. There's no skipping, there's no horse playing. Everything's very structured and everything. And so it builds true student athletes. And so we're building it. We got some great young men that are doing their thing, as well as some great young women as well. We've built a really strong women's program as well. We have young girls that are dynamite. We're already getting offers from Division I schools, and one of our girls, she's 6'4", and she dunked it on a couple of occasions. So, we're working on the girls' side as well, which is very dear to me because my sister is the one that taught me how to play basketball when I first changed over from hockey to basketball. So that's always dear to me that, my sister, was part of my life in that part. She's gone now to be the Lord, but she's still with me in my heart and my soul.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Now, I know you're the founder of We Are Grassroots. Can you talk a little? Can you share with our viewers more about We Are Grassroots, and because you're the founder, the CEO, you're the man. How did that come to be?
Well, basically, like I said before, when I was first started training guys back in the early 1990s and bringing them to local tournaments in Buffalo, Michigan, Erie, Pennsylvania, those places, it was called Toronto Elite at the time. And after a while, we started having some good success. And I said, this could go somewhere, because at that point, it was only me. So whatever the top players are, I'm getting them. And so there's a period of time where, all these D1 coaches, when they're allowed to come out to AAU practices, we'd have anywhere from 2 to 10 Division I coaches at our practices. And they would be like, I want to give him a scholarship. I'd like to give him a scholarship.
Nice.
It was like Oprah in the building, you know what I mean? They were giving out scholarships to everyone, you know what I mean? Because they didn't realize the talent, the athleticism, and the kind of, prospects that were there. So as time went on, we started traveling to further places and doing a lot of great things. And then in 1999, I reached out to Nike America, Nike USA, and told them that, our program's really lifting and we'd like to get some support from them, because, we got a great product, great young men up in Canada. So Mr. George Ravlin came up to Toronto and saw the talent that we had, and they supported us for the next few years. And we then changed the name. I collaborated with somebody else, and we changed it to the name to Grassroots, because I was that guy that's in the gym,
Yes, you are.
in their house, counseling them, speaking with their parents. I knew them from that ground level. And so, that was a fitting name for the organization.
Yes.
Then we built it up, to where, we're the first, longest running, and most successful AU program out of Canada.
Right.
And this is before the Raptors came, and,
Exactly.
we were doing our thing. And, the Raptors obviously really helped to expand basketball in that level, but we feel that we had a lot to do with the growth of basketball in Canada, and it's gone from there. And now we have about 12 teams on the boys and girls level, and we're doing great things. A lot of our guys are ranked in America, and our teams are ranked in America and Canada, and we're now basketball is really opened up to in North America, and the world, to where they look at us as possible country that can get a medal in the next Olympics. So it's great to see the growth on the boys and the girls side, and hope it continues in the future.
Yeah, well, that's awesome, bro. I'm so proud of you, because I know that you're in the trenches with these men and women, and you're doing the work that nobody knows, but I know that your handprint is on a lot of these players. They have to come through this man, and when this man touches their life, things happen. And I'm so proud of you and what you're doing in the city of Toronto and abroad. I know that many people don't know, but I know. I know. We come back. We go way back, 90s, and yes. We were doing basketball here before the Raptors, and Raptors just helped to elevate what we were doing. And it was I remember my time playing in the city of Toronto.
Yes.
It was a fun time. Summer basketball was the best.
Yeah. I remember you playing with the guys, and to get that competition, and you're kicking their butt, and I was really admired you that, hey, this girl, like, she doesn't care that, these are guys. She's going at them, and so you've always also been a pioneer in the basketball world as well. And so, we've always admired each other's work and over the years and kept in touch. So it's great to, sit down and talk about old times, and also talk about what's going on now and what the future holds.
Well, that's a good segue, because you know what? I would like to talk about more with Coach Ro, because I definitely think that he needs to be at a high level of coaching in this country, and he's not. And I think that's where he needs to be. And I'm going to come back and talk to you about that. Stay tuned. We'll be right back after this commercial break. Welcome back. We're here with Coach Ro Russel. Ro, man, I know I really want you to touch on your connection with the disability community, and I know you've coached some young players and had some experiences. I just want to know if you would just share with our viewers across Canada more on that.
Okay, sure. I'm one of those guys that, the way my mom grew me up, that if I can help somebody, that may need some extra help in different areas, then, that's what, God would have us do. Mm-hmm. And so over the years, I was that guy looking out for those and finding the good in people no matter what. Where some people may say, there's some issue with him, in terms of, I had a player before who he had a smaller hand. His hand was kind of smaller. But it helped him to have even more talent in other areas, more perception in his hand-eye coordination and his quickness and everything. So I actually took him on board to play in our program and, showed him certain things, how to lift his hand, quickly here and get a shot up. And he ended up, getting a scholarship, went to play junior college, and then he played Division II. And, even though other people said, he's just not good enough, he's not equipped physically to make it work, but, he had the passion, he had the drive, and he was able to use his whole other packages to be able to, go on to bigger and better things. So I've had my experiences, with the disability community. Over the years, I've had numerous young men that have had learning disabilities.
Okay.
My own son, he was born with a learning disability. He stuttered from me when he was born, and that caused him to, be drawn, in and to be shy and not to want to, be in public arenas and so forth, and affected his learning. And, I had to deal with that. And through dealing with that, then I had a soft spot for kids with learning disability, because I knew that if you work with them, you spend time with them, and you identify what other ways that you can help them along, it could work. Because once I got my son into speech therapy, and he was able to control the stuttering and slow his words down, I saw a huge change in his performance in school. And he ended up, doing well in school and moving on from there. And so over the years, I've had a lot of young men that had learning disabilities, ADD, all those different things that they were able to overcome and be able to move on to bigger and better things, go to college. I even a couple guys that played in the NBA that people don't even know that they had learning disabilities, but they overcame it, and they're being successful. So I'm that kind of guy that I don't really look at things being a disability. I look at you being unique, and if you have the passion and the drive, then there's always a way to overcome those things.
Another thing that I have two more things I want to ask you, but I know you've been married for 28 years, and I was like, wow. Can you? I know you talked about your son.
Yes.
Just share a little bit of your family dynamic with us. I didn't know all that. 28 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, I ended up marrying my high school sweetheart.
Nice.
And it was all in God's hands, because she went to another high school. And so by chance, she decided to transfer to Runnymede, where I was at.
Okay.
And I was, when she first came there, I kind of eyed her, And at that point, I was a guy that played basketball, 6-8 hours a day. Basketball is my passion. And, she ended up, taking some of that time from me. And I saw that, hey, if she's able to take me away from basketball, then she's got to be special, because nothing could take me away from practice, workouts, going to George Brown College, going to night runs, working, all those things. And so I end up, when I went to college my freshman year, then I end up getting married.
Okay.
And I have two sons, Ro Russel and Tavian Russell, and been married for 28 years, happily married, and she's been great supporter of me over the years, in terms of allowing me to do what I do and supporting me every bit of the way. I'm coming from a family of three kids. I have two siblings, a brother and sister. Unfortunately, they both have passed away.
Okay.
My mom, who's the only other member of my family that's still alive. My father passed away about 9 years ago. My sister actually passed away 6 years ago. So it was really unique, and it was a very trying time because my brother passed away, had a heart attack in May, and me and my mom, my sister, went buried him, and then a month later, my sister passed away.
Oh, wow.
She had a routine surgery in the hospital, and it was one of those procedures that went wrong, and she never woke up. And,
Sorry to hear that.
And so so me and my mom are very even closer because of that, because there are only two left in that unit, and she's my inspiration, and she's the one that's a big reason of who I am. My mom, my sister, my brother, my father, and my whole family, and so I'm a big family guy. And that's how I bring it to my high school program, my AU program. It's a family. And so we support each other no matter what. And the atmosphere is like that. It's a very family-oriented atmosphere, and it helps them to have that comfortability and that knowledge that everybody got their back, and Coach Ro got their back, and I'm willing to help them out no matter what. So that's kind of a rundown of my family. Situation.
Thank you. Wow. I'm so sorry to hear that, but you've learned things through those challenging times.
Yes.
I know that I want to ask you a little bit about coaching, and this is my personal belief. I believe that Coach Ro, who has been an icon in Toronto and legendary, has fingerprints are all over the basketball community. I am number one fan. I believe that he should be in the high ranks of coaching in Canada on the national team, because the players know him, they trust him, and he obviously did something to get them in the NBA. Player coach, that relationship is something that is very special, and you can't just form an all-star team and just put a coach in there and make a team. Expect a winning team. There needs to be that player-coach caring relationship. It's very so special, and I know that my coach passed away, Peter Anderson. We had that kind of relationship ourselves, and I know that he would get all his players, even to this day, that they would run through a wall for him. And I'm sure if you were to interview those players that have been coached by you, they would probably say the same thing. And do you have any aspirations to coach at the national level? Or?
Well, I do have some aspirations to coach at the national level. I have a good relationship with Rowan Barrett, who's the vice president of the national program, and I know Steve Nash, and I've been out to their different training camps.
Right.
I've brought players out to have them work out, and I've had numerous guys, obviously, that played in the national team over the years, and so, we've had some conversations, that at some, opportune time, I'd like to get involved and be able to pass on some knowledge and work with these young men and get to that level. I'd love to, help represent Canada at international competition, at the training camps, those kind of things. So I think that, the right time will happen for that. Those are things that, sometimes it's in your mind that, hey, it'd be cool to do that. Yeah. But in the meantime, I'm going to keep plugging away with the programs that I'm running right now, and, help those guys to get on the national programs. And, sometimes I give them advice and consult with them about how things are going on and what the atmosphere is on Canadian basketball and global basketball. So I think that at some point something like that may come around.
Okay, awesome. Listen, Rev Ro gets results, and if you want your basketball to excel, see Mr. Coach Russell, because I think you're doing a fabulous job. I mean, I'm so, like I said before, I'm so proud of what you're doing and what you've been through. And that is, and I know if there's one lesson you've learned through what you've been through, what would you like to share with our viewers before we wrap?
I think that, there's a few lessons that I've learned over the years, this basketball game. Trust God, keep close to your family, and don't let anything stop you from your end goal, and, and delegate.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Because I'm a very passionate guy, and sometimes I like to multitask a lot, and there's a limit to that. Sometimes you gotta make sure your I's are dotted, your T's are crossed, and you gotta, you need some help. You can do so much, with the amount of kids and situations that you're doing. You can't be everywhere. So those are the lessons I've learned over the years, and I thank God for the opportunity that I've gotten, and to go through those things and learn from it and move on and be able to help others, to mentor them and to show them, the right way and how it works. So, so I'm blessed.
Okay, thank you. That's awesome. We'll be right back, and we're going to wrap the show with Ro Russel, or Rev Ro. Welcome back to Trailblazers. I'm your host, Susan. We're here with Ro Russel. And Ro, I know that people are probably watching this and wondering how can they get more information on you. And I would like you to take this time to just share where they can find out more about you and grassroots. And so take it away.
Yeah, definitely. I love training. I love coaching, and I've helped a lot of young men and women over the years, in achieving their goals. So for our grassroots AU program, our website is www.grassrootselitebasketball.com. We're also on Instagram. We are Grassroots, and then I also have a personal Instagram, which is Coach Ro Russel, Coach R.O. Russell, and also I'm everywhere. You could find me if they want to reach. They'll be able to connect the dots and find us, because I'm very accessible. Because I know that people would like to get involved, either playing or training or getting advice. And because I've done this for almost 30 years now, which is crazy to think that I've been doing this so long. I have a lot of information and a lot of contacts to help people with. So I'm always willing to help.
Yes. Well, we are truly honored here on Trailblazers to have you right here. This talent is, you need to be, I can't even say much more. I'm truly honored to have you on our show. Thank you so much.
Yes.
If you wanted to also reach me, you can also reach me on Twitter at I am Susan Stewart. You could also follow the Disability Channel on their Facebook page, or you can go to www.thedisabilitychannel. That's it for now. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch our show. I hope you enjoyed it. See you next time.